morning, hope you're all well. This morning I am off to ABC's so he can record some drums on the track. It's always exciting to head over to ABC's, we always have such a good time. And not only that, but I've got a lot of work on today. So ABC is the perfect choice. He'll be able to do this in the blink of an eye, really efficiently, and it'll sound great. But listening to the track this morning, it definitely needs some live drums on it for sure. I bet this video now looks like an advert for this air freshener, and although it does smell really nice in here, it smells like gingerbread, which you might be able to see from the actual gingerbread man on it. But this video is in no way sponsored by this gingerbread air freshener. It is just very prevalent in this shot. ABC on the soup hype.
Yeah,
Look at that.
You inspired me with your text earlier. Oh, I'm hungry.
That's it. I had a broccoli and Stilton one that I made myself. What's that?
Chicken and vegetable broth that I made in Asda.
Excellent choice. Also, I feel like we need to talk about this. What's going on here? Is this...
Alex got a Calax.
That is great though, look at that.
I saw your vlog and then I very kindly asked my mum to pick me something to put this on because I was sick of...
There we go.
The old table, look at the improvement just there.
Look at that, that's very clear that, isn't it? But look at that, so Alex has gone for the felty drawers, which are so
substandard,
so hard to open. And then the classic, what I'm going to call the Dan Jones small cupboard.
I'll pay no mind to the cotton wool.
Just like, hello. And then classic drawers. What a great Calax setup.
I've already bent this one because it's got too much weight in it. Never mind.
I rate this Calax setup 5 out of 5.
Oh, you boy.
There we go.
Hey, do you know what as well? You can get yourself... Did you watch Martin Lewis's Money Show last night?
No, I didn't know.
You can get yourself a Calax for like a £5 because if you go in and buy a £25 6-foot IKEA Christmas tree,
yeah,
they give you a £20 voucher back to spend in January, so you can go back in.
That's amazing. I feel like, genuinely, I have to document how excited I am.
Watching Martin Lewis turns you on to a lot of money saving things.
Yeah.
6-foot Christmas tree and a Calax for a £5. If you think about it.
Yeah, that's it. We're putting a Christmas tree in the studio then.
Yeah.
So we can't find a riveted ride, so we're putting... That's quite interesting, yeah. So we're putting some keys on the ride symbol instead to create a similar effect. Sounds good to me. I like that. As always, amazing work from ABC. We were in there for about an hour max, and everything's done on the drums, so gotta go home now and make some progress on the other stuff. But yeah, fantastic work from ABC. He's definitely gone up in my estimations again by purchasing a Calax. He can now join the Calax Club with me and Dan. I've probably got to run that by Dan first, but I think, yes, he can successfully become a member on my part. So I'm just enjoying a quick cup of tea before I go out to work again. It really is a very busy day. And it might seem like a ridiculous thing to say, but these are good days for writing songs, because when I'm away and I'm doing something different, it means I come back with a fresh perspective every time. So I haven't listened back to what Alex played since I've been at the studio yet, but when I get back next time I'll be able to, and I'll know where I'm going next. Honestly, I feel really rushed off my feet today, but it has been a good day. It feels good to be this productive. I tell you what, vlogging on Wednesdays is really difficult. It's one day in the week where I actually have loads of work fixtures, so it makes it really hard to do stuff like this around it. That's why I always do the Q&A, because I know that I can do that, I can film it in a day and get it out there. Today has been a challenge, but the night is young. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the rest of the evening to create stuff that ought to be done now, because I need more time for reflection. So there are certain things with this that I don't really need to experiment with. I know what the piano part is going to sound like, for example. I can sort of hear that in my head at the moment. I've written down the chords. It'll just be a case of sitting and playing a couple of takes. I could do that on day 7. That's totally fine. It could slot around everything else. So there are things like the middle 8, which does need doing, because there are no lyrics to that bit yet. And I'd rather do that now and sleep on it tonight and possibly the night after that as well, because it might need a bit of development, it might need a bit of tweaking. This is not to say that all the things that I'm not doing now are rush things, but it definitely just requires a little bit more time to reflect. Not necessarily to write, but to reflect on for sure. So I'm going to sit now and I'm going to write that middle 8, which of course brings up quite a contentious subject in itself, because am I feeling inspired to write right now? Absolutely not. I'm very, very tired. But I'm still going to write, because I believe that there is no such thing as writer's block. I know that that's a pretty bold statement, but a few years ago somebody said to me, as long as you believe that writer's block exists, it will. And I believe that, I really do. And since I've told myself that it doesn't exist, I've been able to write fairly consistently. And don't get me wrong, I haven't used all of those ideas. And sometimes I've written stuff that I think isn't very good. The key aspect that I believe in is that if you sit down and try to write something, even if it's just for half an hour, you can always edit it later. And if it doesn't actually get into the piece of work, it might make it into another piece of work. A really good example of that is how I wrote the song Notes to Self. I called the vlog A Meaningless Song, because I basically went back and I used iPhone notes to put together a song that made 0 sense. They were all writing ideas that I'd forced myself to do, where I was like, right, okay, I need to come up with a lyric idea today. This is what I'll do. And that's what I'm going to do now. What I write right now might not actually be perfect, and I might have to do a lot of editing, but I don't need that creative inspiration to write. And I firmly believe that if you tell yourself that writer's block doesn't exist, it will no longer become an issue to you. In my opinion, it's a much more positive way of looking at writing. There's nothing stopping you from picking up that pen and writing something right now. And that's what I'm going to do. So there you have it. I've actually finished the lyrics. I forced myself to do it, and I'm actually quite pleased with what I've done. And you can probably hear the surprise in my voice. Sometimes when you've got nothing in your head, it's good to just sit down and try it anyway. And this is a really good example of that. Of course, I might change the odd line and I might swap things around tomorrow, but now I've got an extra day to think about it. I've got an extra day to reflect. It means that tomorrow I can actually have a go at recording the vocals. And I think that actually puts me in a better position for the rest of the production for the project, because that way I'm not sort of interfering with the vocal. I've started to extend that a little bit more. I can't remember when I started doing it, but I started putting the bass guitar in first, so that didn't interfere with it. But now it's more a case of get the vocals down and then we'll add the bells and whistles afterwards. I can honestly say that the hardest thing about a song in 7 days is not being able to share this with you. I know you get to see my experience of writing it and you get to follow the story, but at this point I wish you could be sat right here listening to what I'm listening to. My dad actually caught me earlier and said, how far have you actually got with this song? Because it isn't very obvious from the vlog. And I had to tell him that I'm making lots of progress, but I just don't want to give away what it sounds like, because that's part of the fun. But it is very, very difficult to do this. It is very difficult to keep this from you. Genuinely surprised at how much I've been able to get done today, in spite of it being the busiest day in history. And I know it's late now, but it's worth it to be sat here and working on this. It feels really good to be creating. If you're watching this, I'd love to know what you think of the process so far. I'd be really interested to see where you think the song is going at this point. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. And as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And on that note, I will leave you. My bed has been calling me for about 2 or 3 hours now, so it's probably a good idea for me to hit the hay. And to quote a lesser known Don McLean song, till tomorrow. I'll see you then.